It's the Open Bedroom Doors Show.
I'm Angela Skirtu, and I open bedroom doors. Hello, everyone. I'm Angela Skirtu. I am a licensed marriage therapist and an ASEX certified sex therapist, and we have a great show for you today. This is a segment on the show that I like to call Sex Positions, where I judge a unique topic about sexual health that you might find in the media. Today's sex position is about AI and ChatGPT. So the new surprising sex trend on the rise is that people are using ChatGPT for their health-related questions. That is in March 25th in NYPost. So interesting. So just remember, I only judge you because I love you. But I'm not against it. I mean, to be fair, I don't use ChatGPT, but I do Google a lot of stuff because the reality is there's only so much you can know in this world, right? So I've been doing sex and couples therapy for almost 20 years. And there are still things I learned today that I didn't know 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So I'm not one of those people who's really freaked out about ChatGPT or AI or any of them. I just think they need to be enhancements, not your only resource. Here's where it can be a problem, right? So yes, what's cool about these websites is they can go through and scour through all of the articles and create different ideas or strategies that globally could work, but you're still dealing with a very specific person when you're trying to have sex. So my one request for all of you is, yes, feel free, research, learn. That's what we have Google, ChatGPT. We've always had resources to find stuff, but you still got to talk to your partner. If you're not talking to your partner about sex and what they want and what they like and what will be good for them, then you could be getting the answers for the wrong person, because ChatGPT can't tell you about your specific partner. Here's an example. Say you look up clitoral stimulation. Well, guess what? Every woman's body and clitoris is different in what she likes and how she likes it and what she doesn't like, right? So if you're not having this conversation with your partner about what she likes, what she's okay with, then you could have just ChatGPT'd something that she's not going to even do. So not against it. I think actually these tools are really cool and can be very helpful in a lot of ways, but we need to see them as enhancements. Kind of like sex toys, right? Sex toys don't replace your partner, but they are an enhancement to take things to the next level, a whole nother level. That's what I want for you. We are always looking for sponsors, so if you are interested in sponsoring the next sex position, please reach out at openbedroomdoors.com and submit a contact form. We'll even let you pick the position. Want to spice up your sex life? Then be sure to pick up a copy of my new book, From No to Yes Sex. Tired of routine sex? Feeling more like roommates than lovers? Wondering where the passion went or if it was ever really there? You're not alone. And guess what? You don't have to settle for a sex life that's just meh. Better sex doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in your head. And from no to yes sex, I'll help you break free from shame, outdated beliefs, and unspoken frustrations that have been keeping you stuck. When you change the way you think about sex, you change the way you show up for sex. And that's where the magic happens. This book will help you understand why you're not getting the sex you crave. Rewire negative thoughts about sex, your body, and desire. And finally, learn how to communicate what you actually want in bed. You'll stop treating sex like an obligation and start wanting it again. No shame, no fluff, just straight talk and strategies, and a whole lot of yes moments. Yeah! This is the first book in my Open Bedroom Doors book series, where we strip away the awkwardness and build a foundation for lasting passion. Whether you're in a long-term relationship that's lost its fire or just tired of going through the emotions, this book is your invitation to transform your love life one thought at a time. Don't wait, order now. Hello everyone, I'm Angela Skirtu. I am a licensed marriage and couples therapist, and I'm also a certified sex therapist, and I have with me Vee Mindful. Vee, will you tell them a little about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So, yeah, I do go by Vee Mindful. I'm a relationship coach. And, I started getting into more like intimacy and love type because relationships, I feel like they are such a huge topic. Just like if I say I'm studying IT, but it's like, well, what type of IT? Because IT is huge, So, as I was putting out more content, I noticed that I just, people were more so resonating with like the love and the intimacy. Like, how can we maintain the intimacy in our relationship? So, my typical client is the more mature crowd. So I feel like 45 and over or 50 and over. Just because I feel like the kids, and I call them kids because they my kids' age. So I feel like the younger folks, the dating is a little different for 20, 25 years old.
So let's jump right into the topic. Vee, you talk about dating after divorce. Tell me, what are some of the things that people struggle with when they're first dating after divorce?
First, get back out there. The thing is, as we get older, we get more set in our ways. And then let's say you were in a marriage for a very long time, right? It don't even have to be a very long time. Let's say you were married for at least 10 years, right? You got used to that other person. And the thought of getting used to somebody new, it doesn't thrill anybody. The thought of getting back outside doesn't thrill people, right? We just kind of want to just jump from, okay, I'm single now. Can we just start going to Home Depot and picking out paint colors together? Like, people don't want to do the dating part. People don't want to meet people. People don't want to get out here and go on multiple dates. People just don't want to do that.
Home Depot is a date. And to me, all I think you need to do to date is to flirt and have a little quality time with each other away from your kids.
But that's great because you have a partner. So praise God there, right? But a lot of people
That's true.
don't have partners,
and
right?
I guess other people don't agree with me all the time that can be a date. But I'm telling y'all right now, that can be a date, and it totally should be.
Girl, when I was out here dating, because and this was something that I wouldn't recommend. My schedule was so hectic that I'd meet a lot of men, and I know how to meet men in public, right? Y'all got to look up and smile. Make eye contact.
Look people in their eyes. Be like, hey.
You got to be inviting.
What's your best eye contact for like when you're dating?
Oh, me looking at me?
Yeah. What's your eye contact thing to let a guy know I'm into you?
Oh, if I see somebody, girl, at Target or whatever, I'm looking. The thing is, get the hell off the phone. Look up, right? Get off the phone.
True.
Look up, and I'll just look, and I'll do a little slight smile, and then I'll just and
I just want y'all to hear this. Vee is picking people up at the grocery store here, right?
I have. You'd be.
I love it.
Girl, I don't even want to tell you. I done picked up men. Girl, I mean, not that and it hasn't been intentionally. I mean, it just one day, the guy and he and I were sharing a lane because they had to move the little kids in the swimming pool, and he had to come into my lane, and he was like, "You have very inviting eyes," and I was like, "Okay, boo."
Like, well, I'm in my swimsuit too, so you know what the package looks like.
No, look, I had on that big ass ugly swimming cap, and it's a huge one. I had the big one on, so I looked like I had a big balloon on my head.
So you can even pick someone up with a swim cap. It's all about your attitude.
It's your attitude and it's your energy, right? People can feel your energy, and we have to focus on becoming, and it's cliche, but it's true, becoming the best version of yourself. You have to love yourself. And people's like, well, what does that even look like? Well, start doing the stuff that you like to do. Start pouring into yourself. I don't know if this is true or not, right? You're a marriage therapist. You'll have to tell me if it's true or not. I saw the clip on what Jay Shetty put out, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, when he said that he was in an interview. He was on somebody else's show. And he said, people think that romantic love is the greatest love you can have, and, people are out here looking for it, and they don't feel complete without it. But in his opinion, I don't know if it's true, he said the greatest type of love you can have is the love from a parent. He said that's the greatest love that you can have. And
that's
if you have
attachment love, by the way.
Okay, so he said if you have that type of love, then that is the greatest love. So if you don't have a romantic love, a partner, whatever, but you have the love of your parents or whomever, a familial love, I'll just say that, then you are doing much better. Like, you have the greatest type of love, I should say. So you shouldn't be walking around here feeling empty if you don't have a relationship.
That's
Right.
so. I mean, I do know the differences between like romantic love and like you call it familial love. We call it attachment love in the therapy world. And it's just
Okay.
basically you feel secure with a person.
Okay.
I would say people who even get married have that experience too, where like initially you'll start with the romantic, exciting love, but then it moves into an attachment love. And that's why it becomes hard for people to have good sex later in their relationships, because with attachment love, you have to keep doing things to build that spark and create like excitement. So I think there's value to it, but I do think we do crave that sort of exciting, like, I love you. You're so exciting.
Oh no, I think people they absolutely crave it. I just, you talk about normalizing, ED. I really would like people to also normalize that if you're single, look, you're okay. Because I work with clients who are single mostly, right? I
Yeah.
have some people who are in relationships, but if you turn on the new, not the damn news, because that shit is depressing. But if you turn on like a movie, a Lifetime movie or something, everything is love, 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 and it's like, well, can we normalize people just loving on themselves as well? Like, you don't have to, baby girl, baby guy, you don't got to be out here chasing any and everything. It's okay to be in your season of singleness.
Well, what's interesting about that, Vee, is you were saying earlier when you're talking about like how you put yourself out there, right? Like love on yourself is how you put yourself out there, I think, in such a way that like draws people in, because you're just such a happy, like quality person that like you were in the pool and you were just like living your life, being your single self, and like some guy was like, who is this person with this cool energy? So like it naturally draws people to you when you're just in your heart of your passion of like, I'm just doing me and I love myself. Or what are you seeing there? Because like you're in the dating world more. So that's kind of cool. Like what do you see when people just like deeply dive into just being themselves?
I think that's the only way you're going to attract something of substance. That is the only way. That's why, a lot of coaches and therapists, right? You have to work on the individual. You're only going to attract what you are. So, and the thing is, like I talk about when I was single and I was going on, and I had been on, girl, a few hundred dates, and I was not with the same guy. I was a couple of hundred men, and it's always easy for me to meet men. Like I could go out here right now and be like, hey, I mean, the guy who repaired my garage door, young guy. He sent me a text like the next week, I was at your house and I was wondering if I could take you out. Dude, how are you the same age as my kids? I have to draw the line, right? You're too young, So anyway, it's like, well, we go out here and when you are, okay, let me back up. When you are single, I feel like that is the time to really learn who you are, learn what you like get out here and go to restaurants by yourself. I don't know why there's a stigma about eating out here by your damn self. Nobody cares. Let me tell you something. Nobody's looking at you.
Well, Vee, you bring up so I did divorce, so I'm in my second marriage now, but like during my divorce period, I remember feeling this overwhelming need to say yes to things that I had to say no to when I was married. And so like that was a part of my journey. It was like, Angela, everything, I literally said that to myself, everything that you said no to before because of that marriage, you say yes to now. And so I went to a poetry slam. Yes. I started going to art walks. I started like going to just different, actually, what's funny, so I went to a Renaissance fair and like I volunteered to get up on stage and the guy on stage was totally flirting with me.
Okay.
But like the point is like these are all I was doing exactly what you were saying is like I'm going to lean fully into the things that I want for me. And I'm telling you, I think it was a great part of dating for me. Are you seeing that in your world?
People need to do exactly that. Like, you'd be surprised when people get divorced, they just sit at home and they get into such a routine that, they become boring. And then, they age faster. Like, we're 50. And the thing is, you're aging yourself faster just by sitting in the house, not doing anything, not working out, not eating right, not going to the gym, not taking care of yourself. You literally are aging your life faster, So, I mean, if you really are trying to leave this earth faster, then you are on the right path. Like, you got to stop doing that. Pour into yourself. Like, take yourself out on dates. Like, who gives a damn? If you ever go to a restaurant, like, go to a restaurant, girl. look at how many people, and I took a video of this, and my son was like, "Are you recording them?" I said, "Yes." I
Yes,
haven't
I
used it
have
in a piece
to.
of content. Two people just sitting across from each other on the phone.
They
Why?
weren't even talking. I see that all the time, and I'm like, what are you even doing here? You might as well be at home.
That's why I'm like, people, don't be scared to go out here by yourself. Nobody's even paying you any attention. Nobody cares.
Well, and V, you keep saying it, but I want to really reiterate it. Get off your phone. Get off.
Yes.
Like, you are not living. So I have a daughter. She's 10. And I tell her, yesterday we had no phones and no tablets. And I told her, Olivia, living is in life. In your phone, you are distracting from life. But in life means, just like you said, you look at people in the eyes, you smile. I am now Mrs. Smokey, Alabama in my meat department because I look people in the eyes and I smile. And that's what I order is the Smokey, Alabama chicken.
Okay.
But the point is, you make connections. And I know I'm not dating the people in my meat department, but that's how friendly I got used to being. I know. There's Miss Smokey, Alabama.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I had to actually learn how to just turn it off, right? Because you go out here and smile at people, and men aren't that hard to figure out. I think women, we make it much harder to figure out. Men, they're not that. They're pretty damn simple. I feel like men are pretty simple creatures, right? You talk. I mean, to get one to ask you out, right? It's not that difficult. I mean, just look inviting, be approachable, stop the resting bitch face, look up, be inviting. I mean, it doesn't take much to make eye contact and just smile a little bit to them.
I will say I agree and I disagree, but that's okay. I'll do it respectfully.
Go ahead.
The more that I've learned about men, I don't think they're as simple as we make them out to be. I do think, yes, when you're smiling and approachable, it is easier to date a man than you think. Mm-hmm. But I've been talking with a lot of men, and especially in their long-term relationships, they do want more than just sex. They do want a relationship. They want to talk to you. They also have needs and boundaries. And so I think men have just as many needs as women. I think they just show up differently. But to be fair, yes, if you are a woman out on the prowl, literally look at them, smile, talk to them. It doesn't even have to be like a big conversation. It can just be a, hey, what you doing today? And that would be enough. I'm curious, what advice would you give for men? Because you're talking like if it was women listeners, but I actually have a very high male listenership of my show.
Me too.
So if I know, because men want to know about us. It's because women actually aren't as seeking of this advice as men. Men want to know, how do I date? How do I put themselves out there? So what would you tell a man for dating so that because they feel like we're just this complex enigma of puzzles?
And being as I'm a mom to 3 sons and they're all grown, I know it's not easy. And I have 2 nephews, so it's 5 boys in our family. Then I have 2 grandsons. So we're a family full of young men. I know it's not easy. And most of my clients have been men, but I know, I'm going to tell you right now, I know it's not easy because you hear the men that say, well, what's the difference between love bombing and me just showing interest? It's so much within the Me Too movement. How do I know when I can approach her versus not approach her? V, I don't know what to do, So my advice would be to not be labeled a stalker. Right. You got to pay attention to the cues, right? Pay attention to her cues.
So what cues would he be looking for?
He's looking for the eye contact. If she doesn't seem if she's moving fast, let's say she's in the gym, she got her headphones on and I go to the gym, don't hound women because there is a time and a place. Try to go to places where it's more, conducive to being approached, right? You don't want to approach somebody, even though one of my female clients, she did meet somebody at a funeral, but I'm just saying you may not want to approach somebody at a funeral.
That is not uncommon, by the way. But you don't approach them like you're trying to date them. You just approach them like a kind friend.
Yes.
And you just talk. And then sometimes things can happen. But I would say you could approach people at any time, but there's a difference in the style of approach.
Yes.
Right? So at a funeral, you're just friendly and you're just offering a welcome hand and you're there for people. At the gym, you're maybe hey, offering a spot, but you're really staying friendly and you're not trying to really be more sexual with it. You're just hey, yeah, I'm here if you ever need me, but you keep it casual.
Yes.
I would say there are other spaces where you can be a little more flirty, but I honestly, I feel like the friendly start is a really great way to meet most people. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I agree. Like, yes, just don't give stalker vibes.
Where can they find you?
What you can find me, I would say, if you want to hear more about the Sex After 50 talk, I have several videos on YouTube where I talk about all those topics. So Vee Mindful on YouTube.
All right. Thank you, Vee, so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
That's too spicy. Well, guys, on the Open Bedroom Doors show, we often have content that's a little too spicy for your typical social media platforms. So for those of you who are like, I love everything Angela Skirtu and I want to know all the spicy details, we actually have a space where we put the uncut shows, and it is at patreon.com/openbedroomdoors. So you can subscribe to that channel and get all the behind the scenes, all that spicy stuff that I wasn't able to put in the show. That's too spicy. So I hope you can join me at patreon.com/openbedroomdoors. Keep in mind, that is how you support me. So it is a subscription channel where you have to pay to subscribe, but you are becoming a supporter of me and putting out this awesome content as a result. So please join me for those spicy, spicy things. Want to be a sponsor for the show? So we have all kinds of sponsorship opportunities, from endorsements to sponsoring an entire episode to sponsoring a section of episodes. And if you would like to become a sponsor, please go to openbedroomdoors.com and look for the sponsorship page to become a part of this show. We would love to have you. Now, something cool as well is that we have an event coming up right here at Adventure Unknown called Sensual Bites and Bedroom Secrets. That is happening September 13th from 5 to 8, and we're looking for vendor sponsors. Now, if you become a vendor sponsor for that event, then you can get a whole show where I interview you all about you and your business, and you get to be part of this Sensual Bites and Bedroom Secrets. I have a celebrity guest, chef Terri Jayne from Fox 2 News, coming to make you an aphrodisiac menu, and it's going to be an elevated date night. Just think of like dinner and a TED Talk. It's going to be fun. I'm going to teach you some stuff. Oh, and I'm answering sex questions in bed. So if you want to be a sponsor, we have so many opportunities. This is how you support the show and you become a part of something cool, because this show is all about creating sex education for free to like educate the masses. So please visit me at openbedroomdoors.com and become a sponsor. On every show, I like to answer one of my audience questions, and I always have my BDSM bears with me. Barry Bonds, Consent Cub, thank you for joining me. Thank you for having us. They're here for the fun. And if you ever have a question, please submit them in the comments below, or please submit a contact form at my website, openbedroomdoors.com. So today's question is an interesting one that keeps showing up, and it says, how do I know if my vagina smells? You know, I am so pissed off about this one. Like, first of all, vaginas have a smell, but that doesn't mean they smell, right? So like that particular connotation, it's like, so you'll see all these deodorants, like now there's body deodorants for everything. You can spray everything down so that nothing smells like anything. Vaginas are supposed to smell. They're supposed to have a smell, and it's feminine. It's your smell. Like if you think of it like just a DNA or a pheromone smell, it's nice. Actually, usually your partner is kind of excited about that smell. It's what makes you you. So like, I feel like trying to tamp down that smell is almost like ruining your personality or who you are as a sexual smelling person. Like everybody has smells. Like even me, like I can smell my bits, right? Like I have a smell, and it's the smell of who I am. Now, I'm not saying there aren't times when a vagina does start to smell. Like all right, you first just get to know what your basic smell is, and you've got to learn to just accept that, like, hey, that's a beautiful, normal part of who you are. Are you showering every day? Cool. Then that's what you need to do. Like, practice basic hygiene, but please don't try and take away every potential smell you have. Like, get to know your basic smell. If that smell changes from its regular day to day, there can be things like a yeast infection or a UTI that you're dealing with. So get to know what your normal smell is, accept it, deeply love it for what it is, because your partner typically really loves it, by the way. And then over time, if there are shifts, then yeah, there could be medical conditions that need to be addressed. But beyond that, like, vaginas have a smell. They are part of who you are. They're your sexual DNA, and they're beautiful. I own St. Louis Marriage Therapy. You can find me at www.openbedroomdoors.com. I'm Angela Skirtu, and please actually submit a contact form if you'd like to get on my email list. I'm Angela Skirtu, and I open bedroom doors. Good night, and have a sexy tomorrow.